So I've been working with people who want their ex back for like 5 years now. I had 3 breakups myself, and I failed spectacularly when it comes to reattraction myself as well. I made every mistake in the book, and I've seen other people make every mistake in the book as well. And this is basically an accumulation of 18 lessons that I've learned from all of my own mistakes and from watching other people make mistakes. Now, if you want to go deeper into getting an ex back, I urge you download my reattraction cheat sheet, link in the description down below. But anyway, let's get onward to our first lesson. Most people think that they need ex back advice at this point. However, what most people actually need is self-improvement advice and therapy. Don't get me wrong. How to act around your ex and how to perceive their signals of attraction, stuff like that is important, but it's not enough. Ex back advice is just the starting point. To get your ex back for good, you need to work on your emotional issues as well, and a bunch of other areas that only a therapist or like a really good life coach or something can actually help you manage, resolve, overcome, and so on. In a similar way, lesson number 2 is that it's not what you say that gets your ex back, or how you present yourself, or what you do in fact. It's really what you embody that gets them back. It's all about your identity, what kind of values you stand by, what your beliefs are, what your principles are, your morality, stuff like that. To put it another way, it's not about acting attractive that gets your ex back. It's about actually becoming attractive that gets them back. Lesson number 3, reattraction is mostly, if not entirely, a process of simply resolving insecurities and overcoming shame and anxiety and fear of loss. You can have like all the best persuasion strategies as you see constantly being promoted in these other ex back videos. You can have all the best pre-prepared text messages, the scripts, the lines. You can know all the games, right? If you don't have your emotional shit handled, you're not gonna get your back with your ex for good, like permanently, in any way, shape, or form. Lesson number 4, an abundant, healthy, and empowering lifestyle trumps just about every get your ex back system or method or process out there. Lesson number 5, don't be friends with your ex. I know a lot of people, they want to use friendship as a backdoor to another relationship. It doesn't work that way. It never worked that way. It usually blows up in your face. Your ex can see right through your shenanigans, and you just made everything worse. So please don't try the whole friendship first before getting back together. It doesn't work. The only time you should actually be friends with your ex is when there are absolutely no shards of emotional attachment or the desire for wanting to get back together present on either side. Lesson number 6, most people underestimate their ex's attraction. They think their ex is head over heels in love with them, when in fact that's probably not the case, and that person is just blinded by their own high attraction, which they are projecting onto their ex as a result. What is the solution? Well, to simply always underestimate your ex's actual attraction. If you think your ex likes you, let's say 8 out of 10, right? 10 being they love you and can't be without you, and 1 being they hate you or are completely indifferent towards you, whatever definition of love you want to go with. The point is, if you see your ex as, let's say, an 8 out of 10 in terms of liking you, tone that down to at least like a 4 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10. This way, you won't behave too desperately around them, because you will not have this mentality around reattraction that it's already in the bag, that it's only a matter of time before you get back with your ex, which is most of the time a complete delusion. Lesson number 7. Know what to focus on. Like, some things in this industry are vastly overrated, if not completely useless. So let me list off a few of them for you. First off, there is pre-prepared text messages. This is like the happy reminder text or the jealousy text, for example. Then there are texting rules, like don't text your ex 24 hours after they reply to your message or some bullshit like that. Then there's flake prevention. So trying to really hone in on like a definite date through all these kinds of loops and hoops, and a lot of red pill pickup-y teachers, coaches teach this stuff. If you don't know about it, great, because you shouldn't know about it, let alone use it. Handwritten letters is also a big one. Don't do that. It always comes off as like very needy. Reverse psychology, big no-no. You don't want to manipulate your ex into giving you another shot. I mean, just think about the ethics about that. Social proof, very much redundant. It's pretty much unneeded. So the social proof is, by the way, when you, let's say, get other people of the opposite sex on social media to, I don't know, like your new profile pic or put comments below it, so you can maybe spark some jealousy in your ex's eyes, like, so you make them think, oh my god, my ex is getting so much attention, they must be, I probably made a mistake and I should try to get them back. Like, don't do that. Again, it's manipulation and it usually doesn't work. Anyway, let's move on. So we also have jealousy tactics, like trying to spread rumors how you're dating a lot of people when in reality you're not. Or even if you are, it's just a shitty move to try and purposefully make that news reach your ex, if you ask me. Also, playing hard to get, no use, basically giving your ex mixed signals and holding back, that's just stupid. The ex day no contact, I made a whole video on that. I made numerous videos on why the whole time sensitive 30, 45, 60 day no contact or whatnot periods are complete bullshit and they don't work, and they're just basically there because experts want to promote them because they sell better than the truth, which is that after a breakup you shouldn't be contacting your ex at any point. The only time you should give them another chance is when they contact you. Also, acting alpha, a big one this day and age with Andrew Tate and the likes. Completely nebulous, stupid concept. It's like, don't try to do it. Don't try to be the high value female male or whatever. It's pathetic because you're just engaging in power plays if you go and think along the lines of an alpha male or female mindset, which is promoted so heavily these days. And that's no way to approach a relationship. Same thing for being indifferent or acting indifferent, to put it a better way. Don't do that. It just shows you're weak. It just shows you can't be vulnerable. You are afraid of being vulnerable, and that's always going to come off as a weakness. And finally, don't try to sabotage your ex's rebound. Again, it's pathetic. These are some things that, like I said, are vastly overrated or at worst completely useless, that you should ignore at all costs, basically. Lesson 8, this is a good one. This is actually going to be the opposite of what I said in lesson 7. So these are actually things that are vastly underrated, if not completely ignored, in the ex-back industry that I recommend you focus on wholeheartedly. Now let me list them out for you. Rebuilding self-esteem, or simply building self-esteem and self-worth. Overcoming limiting beliefs like all men are pigs or all women are manipulative and emotional and whatever. Emphasizing and relating, listening well, non-verbal communication, basically becoming better in your social skills, very important. Making emotional connections, developing character, having a good attitude around your breakup. So to kind of go a little bit deeper, because this is quite vague, to have a good attitude, meaning that you are happy by yourself and you accept the fact that you may not get back with your ex, and even that if that does happen, even if you do not get back with them, you're still going to be fine, you're still going to be happy. Maybe not in the short term, but definitely in the long term. That's what I mean when I say develop a good attitude. Also, work on your attachment style. Go from an insecure one to a secure one. Again, I wrote about this hundreds of times on my blog probably, or at least mentioned it. I made numerous videos on this topic. I urge you, go and look them up. Go and look up more research on attachment styles. It's gonna do you a lot of good. So then we have also proper boundaries, setting and asserting them, basically standing up for yourself. You need to learn how to stand up for yourself based on your unique values and beliefs. You need to start caring about something other than your ex. You need to find some sort of a life purpose that gives you meaning despite your dead relationship, and that gives you hope that life is still worth living and that there are ways or routes to take in your life that will lead you to greener pastures, to more happiness and fulfillment. And you also, just like at the most general, you need to get a freaking life. Like most people, they make their ex the center of their world, and because of that, they completely forget about them, and they completely forget about investing in other areas of their life, like their spirituality, health, business, career, whatever. And that's not a good idea. You want to diversify your identity. You want to care about your romantic relationships, but you also want to care about a variety of other stuff that you maybe aspire to achieve or to learn or to acquire in some way. Lesson number 9. A breakup is a glaring sign of incompatibility. In other words, most people should not try to get back with their ex, because if they get back together with them, they will likely just break up again sooner or later. This is just the harsh reality. We have statistics on this from my side, well, anecdotal evidence from my side and actual statistics from other experts in the field, and the statistics basically show that about 30% of people actually get back together with their ex, and only 15% of those 30% actually stay together for good. Lesson number 10. The ex-back industry is full of scammers. It's full of people who want to exploit your heartbreak to sell you really shitty and often overpriced products. I want you to become aware of them, and you need to be very careful not to fall for them. Again, I made videos about this in the past. Go check them out. I wrote an entire article on how to spot a scammer in our industry, like the 12 signs or something that allow you to spot such a person and basically differentiate between someone who has your best interest in mind, like Corey Wayne, Craig Kenneth, Rory from the Love Chat, brilliant people, and someone who does not have your best interest in mind, like you probably know who. Lesson 11. Don't chase your ex after a breakup. They dumped you, therefore it has to be their idea to want to get back together with you. And besides, you probably, if you're like most people, you probably got dumped because you kept chasing your ex too much. And like, think about this for a moment. How will doing the same thing over and over again produce a different result? It probably won't. That's the truth. It probably won't. You're just going to become more and more annoying, more and more of a nuisance to your ex, and they will sooner or later reject you permanently or block you or ghost you or get a restraining order against you. Lesson 12. Whenever you're in doubt whether your ex likes you or not, just assert a boundary. Tell your ex you want them back, tell your ex you still love them, go for the kiss, invite them on a date, things of that nature. And when you do it, be sure to stay unattached to whatever response or reply your ex gives you in return. And instead, just let it go if it happens and move on with your life. Lesson 13, arguably my most controversial opinion, go and have sex with your ex as soon as possible. Basically, when getting an ex back, you need a mechanism in place that shields you from becoming their doormat and losing yourself in the reattraction process and just becoming like a spineless pleaser who fixes all their problems, who is their male or female therapist, their like caretaker or whatever. You'd want to avoid being that kind of a person. Therefore, what is this defense mechanism that kind of shields you from becoming such a person? Well, it's the following. Let me read it out for you. If you and your ex have not kissed yet by the end of your second date, and or if you haven't yet had sex by the end of the fourth one, consider moving on for good. Take this as a guideline, of course, but the point is, the sooner you get sexual with your ex, the likelier it is that you will rekindle your relationship, and the easier it will also be. Lesson 14, go date other people, because one of the biggest reasons people think their ex is special, one of the biggest reasons they put them on a pedestal in the first place, is because they just lack sexual experience, they lack relationship experience. Usually the people who watch these videos were dumped by their first love or like their first long-term relationship, and the truth is most of these people, they don't have much sexual experience. So go get that experience, and believe me, you're gonna feel way more like yourself, and you're going to also see your ex in a way more normalized way. You're gonna basically put them down from the pedestal, especially if you date people that are of the same or greater quality than your ex in terms of compatibility, looks, meaning physical attractiveness, and things of that nature. Lesson 15. After a breakup, the reason you improve yourself in all aspects of your life, lifestyle, identity, emotional health, whatever, is not to prove something to your ex. It's not to impress your ex. It's not to inspire them to come back. You should do it because you actually want to get better yourself. You should improve yourself for yourself, therefore. Lesson 16, and I kind of alluded on this one earlier. If you're looking for healthy and mature and empowering advice on getting back with an ex, please go check out Corey Wayne and Craig Kenneth. These are the two that I think are like the titans in this industry, and they give the best advice, hands down. Lesson 17, it's not actually getting your ex back that's the hardest part, although it is hard. It's actually keeping them that's incredibly difficult. And when I say keeping them, I mean keeping them in a healthy relationship, not a toxic one, not the same one you had when you were still together, because that relationship, if it didn't work out back then, it probably won't work out now as well. You need to fundamentally change the entire relational dynamic for this to work for good. And finally, lesson 18, it's not only about you and what you go through and what kind of transformation you experience, it's also about your ex. Your ex has to go through the exact same, or at least a similar, mental and emotional and like personal transformation that you're going through, because the truth is, it's not only your fault that you got into a breakup, it's probably also their fault. There are almost always, I would even say always, two people to blame when a relationship falls apart. It's never just about one person. So that's the scary part as well, because you can't control what your ex goes through. You can control your transformation, your personal breakthrough or breakthroughs. You can't control your exes. And as scary as it sounds, you just gotta let go of trying to control them, and you just have to hope for the best. And yes, hope is totally fine to have when you're trying to get back with your ex, despite what some people tell you. It's the expectations to go on a little tangent that you should be worried about. So don't expect your ex to come back, but feel free to hope that they will come back. Anyway, this is getting long, so I'll end the video right here. If you want to go deeper into my process of getting an ex back, download my reattraction cheat sheet, link in the description down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.